You already know it's your boy Joe back at it again, man. CodingPhase.com. Your boy's back and I done did it again. Yeah. Alright guys, so today I have a very good question from Shaquem Harris. He says, Joe, do you think Edwin Diaz's 33-hour PHP course is too long? Your course comes out to about 6.5 hours if I'm adding correctly. Now, first of all, I want to say this. I'm basically going to merge both courses between PHP and Laravel and also Slim. So this is going to be like a complete course on PHP where I'm going to come in and give you not only all the things that you need to know about PHP, but also I want to give you the most popular frameworks that you're going to bump into, you know, in different jobs. I might even throw WordPress in here. I'm still deciding to see how I'm going to do it, because then the course is going to be extremely massive, right? I don't know if I really want to make it super long, like, 30 something hours, 40 hours long, right? It depends, right? So let's see how it goes. I'm going to start off from the first thing that I'm going to do is I already did one project with just a very simple website. For those of you that want to just create a website, put it out there, and want to learn how to deal with PHP and how to actually work with PHP and make your pages a little bit more dynamic instead of having plain HTML. I just finished that project right now, right? Then from there we're gonna do the Laravel. I don't know if Laravel or Slim. Give me to the end of the day today to figure out which one I'm gonna choose. Right now I'm basically writing down the projects that I'm gonna create, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do either one in Slim first or the other one with Laravel, right? So Slim is a framework that is just like Node.js, like Express, right? It's very bare bones. It just gives you routing and a little bit of authentication, but that's about it. Then you have control of everything. And then Laravel is a more full-fledged framework, so it's more for a bigger project. So I'm trying to see which project is going to go for which one. All right. Now, to continue with his question, where he says, hey, do you think 33-hour course is too long? Your course comes out to 6.5 if I'm adding correctly. And I'll be honest, I think this course that I'm building might be like 20 something hours. Okay, might be like 20 something hours complete. Right now, one thing that I will say is something that I wrote to him is like, we have different styles. Me and Edwin Diaz have different styles. Every developer out there has different styles, right? Everybody does something different. They teach a different way. Me, I actually come from the school of Udemy, in the sense of I've actually taken courses from all the best instructors on Udemy. I've also worked in, companies over the past 5-6 years, right? So what I'm doing is creating a project, creating courses for you guys that I wish I would have had, right? Because I have the experience as a self-taught developer and working in the industry, but at the same time, I remember when I was learning these things from all of those guys that are the best instructors out there, right? I learned from them, but at the same time, I knew they was taking way too long. Like this, it's like I tell people, like the understanding, JavaScript, understanding the weird parts. That's a course that I wouldn't recommend to people to just be like, hey, just focus on this course for 20-30 hours straight, and then it's like it's too deep. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. That course is too deep, right? For the things that you need to get a job, you don't need to go that deep into JavaScript. All right. And it's the same thing as this course that I'm building, right? There's certain things in PHP that a lot of instructors fall into, right? They start, freaking explaining every single little thing on the language, pretty much reading off the documentation. And I try to stay away from that, because as a self-taught developer, my whole goal is to get a job as soon as possible and start working, start creating projects. I don't want to spend, 40 hours on a project. Like right now, let me see, calculator, where is it? Let's do the math. Let's say you are somebody who could only learn 3 times, well, 2 hours to 3 hours a day, right? So 40 divided by 3, 13 days, right? Now let's say you could only do that out of, let's say 3 days per week. So how many weeks is that? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be there, like, trying to learn this stuff for months, right? For no reason. Something that you could have learned it in maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Learn the syntax, stop wasting time, just, start building real projects. Because you don't learn by following somebody explain you things from the documentation. You learn by building things, and it keeps you engaged to actually come back. Because if you come in here and somebody comes in and starts giving you an explanation of everything that's on the documentation, right? You go one by one, one by one, one by one, and you're like, man, this is boring, right? I could do this on sololearn.com. I could do this on codecademy.com. I could do this on whatever, right? And fill in the blanks, right? I can do it on any of those websites. But what makes a good instructor to me, especially when you're dealing with people who are self-taught, is different, right? It's totally different because, number one, you got to keep them engaged. Number two, they want to build something. They want to get that gratification. If you come in and you spend 2-3 hours, you want to see something happen. You don't want to see a loop and be like, oh, hey, we counted from 1 to 20. That's not really what you want to do. You want to start building something so you can say, okay, I am becoming a developer, right? I am building stuff, right? So you have to have a process of teaching the people and also keeping them engaged to continue learning, all right? My way of teaching is, I'm not trying to teach you every single thing on the documentation. I'm teaching you the things that you need to get a job, right? The things that you need to get a job. Once you are more experienced, right, there will be situations where you're going to find, like, I don't know, like there could be a way, I don't know, even right now, I can't even think of it, but there could be a function, right, that I haven't taught you in PHP, right? What is your job as a developer? Your job as a developer is to find the answer. You don't need me to come in and read to you the documentation, because once you know how auto concepts work and how the programming language works, how, you got classes, you got functions, you got variables, you got objects, you got all of these things. Once you understand how all of these things work, when you are at the job and they give you something that's not on the tutorials that you learned, your job is to search it through the documentation, right? And you're going to, if I'm a good instructor, you're going to find the answer on your own, right? This is one of the main reasons why in all of my courses, I pull up W3 Schools, I pull up the documentation, I pull up, I even do Google searches. I know the answer, right? But I want to show you guys how to find the answer, right? Because the idea is not for me to read you the documentation, be like, hey guys, my course is 77 hours long. Yeah, I read you the documentation. A lot of people do that. But how can I get you guys to learn to find the answers yourself? How can I get you guys to learn the concepts and be able to continue, expanding on that on your own? My job is not to bore you to death. My job is not to keep you here. Hey guys, I'm going to make sure that you're here for 172 hours. Wait, what? What's the point of that, right? I'd rather have you building projects, right? So that's the difference between me and a lot of instructors out there. And I noticed that. That's why I started doing the courses. The people that see me from the beginning, even I myself was like, man, I don't want to be milking people. I don't want to be doing this, courses for people. But then I saw a void, right? I'm constantly telling people, hey, go check out this other courses from a lot of people. Like, Stephen Grider, which is great. Cole Steele, which is great. There's so many people out there that have great courses. But I know a lot of people that are here on this channel who are still doing Cole Steele course, months later. People who still doing, React from Stephen Grider months later. How can we, instead of us come in and spend so much time on following a course, how can I, as a self-taught developer who also knows this thing, how can I break it down for people, for them to learn and then continue building projects? I don't want people to stay on my course, on one of my courses, staying there for, 72 hours and be like, hey, I got the longest course on PHP. I got the longest course on this, and that. The idea is not for you to spend time with me. The idea is for you to start building things on your own. I don't want you to spend, 90,000 hours on my website. You're supposed to come in here, soak it up, learn everything that you need to learn, follow the projects that I did, then from there, do the same projects that I did with you, and then build it yourself to really see how much you got out of the course. And then from there, start building projects to put into your portfolio. Soon as you get 5, 6 projects, start applying to jobs. That is my goal. You know what I mean? I don't want people to be here, and say, hey, man, I got so much value from Joe's course because it took me 72 hours to complete it. That's not value. Value is when you leave out of here and you're able to build things on your own. When you say, hey, man, Joe came in, he broke it down, things that I see other people that take them hours and hours and hours to do. Joe came in, he broke it down in 2-3 hours. Something that I started looking at other people's courses and sections, and people that I even recommended the courses is like, man, I think we could break that down even to less time, because there's certain concepts. Once you learn the concepts, you're not supposed to stay there. You know what I mean? Like, you're not supposed to stay just on a course, just following along. This is not Netflix. You're not trying to binge watch something, right? You have a goal. Your goal is to work. Your goal is to find that job. Your goal is to really make money. I don't know if anybody here is looking for every single JavaScript method that's out there. If that's what you're here for, my courses or my channel, this is not the place for you, because what you're looking for is somebody who's gonna come in and give you, a whole bunch of explanations of, like, let's say an example, like if I was to come in and look at it into the DOM, right? And we go into every single object that's on the DOM on a page. What is that going to do for you? You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not really going to do anything for you. It's like, okay, we went over it. It took us a good 2 hours. We wasted 2 hours. Once you understand the concepts, which take about 5 minutes, you don't need to go back into the DOM and try to understand every single thing in there until you get to that point. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's right. It's like right now. It's like, let me see. I'm trying to bring it up to a more lower level, somewhere where, let me see. How can I put this? The idea that I have in my head to explain this to people. Okay, let's say you're building something, all right? And I'm perfect. Let's say we are building a house, okay? And you're my student, and I'm teaching you how to build a house, right? You don't need me to tell you where the pipes came from. You don't need me to tell you, hey, they build these pipes in San Francisco. They brought this steel from Pittsburgh. They brought this little pieces from China. You don't need those details. What you're here to do is learn to build a house, right? Now, later on in your career, you might decide, hey, I already know all the concepts. I already could build my own house. But you know what? I want to be able to save money inside of those pipes. I could figure out, I'm going to try to figure out where they made those pipes in so I could get it cheaper, right? So that goes to like JavaScript in a sense of like, hey, we learn how to build something with JavaScript. How can we optimize it to the maximum and be like, instead of using a map, you could build your own for loop in a way where you just, I don't know, it's like you create your own algorithm, right? That's going way deeper than what you need to get the job. You get what I'm saying? It's like your job is to build a house. Your job is not to go in there and figure out where did this little piece that's on the wall, where they made it, how long ago. You don't need that detail, right? Now, that's what I'm saying. As a developer, somebody who's self-taught, you want to be able to learn, but you don't need certain things. A lot of instructors go into deeper things. Like, let's say they go super deep into a topic that takes them 1 hour, right? On one topic that could literally take somebody 10 minutes to explain. But they go into what year it was created. You know, like somebody comes in and gives you a whole history on JavaScript. Like, JavaScript was created in 1992 and by Sunflare company. And, you know, from there we came to Netscape and this and that. And it's like, okay, cool. You could have told me that in, you know, 2 sentences. I didn't need to have a documentary about JavaScript to learn how to build, you know, websites at all, right? And I do that because I stay away from that, because when I was learning, I spent more time learning than building things. So I noticed that was a problem. I noticed that, you know, that was one of the main reasons why in reality I was ready to start working probably in 2 months, right? After I switched and said, hey, I'm going to become a developer. I really worked hard. I really went in, did all the courses. You know, I was doing like probably like 12 hours a day. I will wake up at 9 o'clock. From 9 o'clock, I will be on till like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was really going hard, right? And I was doing that constantly for a good month and a half, right? Then from there, I started building websites on my own. I could have literally came in and probably started applying for jobs soon as I was done with all of that. And I had a couple of websites. But what happened, I wasn't secure enough in myself where I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm ready. I got to keep learning, man. I got to go deeper into this. I got to, you know, spend a whole bunch of times learning algorithms. I got to spend a whole bunch of times taking multiple frameworks. And then in reality, it took me like almost a year to get that first job. But it wasn't because I went to interviews and I was getting turned down and this and that. I just didn't go because I wasn't sure. I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready yet. You know what I mean? And that happens because a lot of times when you're taking these courses and you go deeper than you need to be, you need to, you know, you spend so much time in on courses that you don't need to spend that much time in. You know what I mean? So don't think about value when you take a course and you're learning something. Value is not measured by time. This is something that's wrong with Udemy. It's like we could go to Udemy right now and we're gonna see something. There's a trend. There's a trend that I've noticed a lot of times. So let's see, web development. Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to see. Okay. Rob Percival's The Complete Web Developer course. This course is 30 hours long. Okay, this one's 43 hours long. Okay, this was 27. That's a decent amount. But I think Angular 4 or 5, whatever, can be shorter than that. This one's 17 hours. This is the sweet spot, right? Right? The Web Developer Bootcamp, I understand it. Why is this long? Because in reality, what Cold Steel did, he merged a whole bunch of courses into one, and that's how he sells it, right? He makes his money like that. That's a smart thing to do, right? So he had other courses by itself, and he noticed that he wasn't selling that much. So what did he do? He decided to say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna take, like 10 different topics, 10 different courses, and put them into one, and sell them, and pretty much F everybody else out there, right? Because in reality, all of these courses take time, and people should pay for per course. But, you know, Cold Steel F the game up. So it's like, now it's like you get all like 20 courses in one course, right? But that's a different story. But you see, like this one, the Complete JavaScript, Build a Real World Project. This is the sweet spot, right? He's over here teaching you, you know, let's look into this, because I haven't really taken the course. But to me, that's a sweet spot. 17 hours for JavaScript, that makes sense. You know, anything between 12 and 17, it makes sense. You know, it's like, see, all of this stuff, this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is a perfect course, right? This course comes in, talks to you about the basics of JavaScript, 3 hours, JavaScript in the browser, DOM, 2 hours, advanced, objects and functions. So now it's like object oriented. So that's another 2.5 hours. Put it together. He creates a project. Takes him like about 5 hours. That's a little bit too long. But get ready for the future. ES20. So basically now he added ES6 to the course. So now it's another 3 hours. And then from there he has like a final 30 questions that takes like a minute, right? And then like a conclusion, whatever. So the whole course itself is like 17 hours, right? He has a lot of topics in here, but all about JavaScript, right? There's people who have stuff where we're teaching you PHP, right? But at the same time, we're also teaching you HTML. We're also teaching you CSS. We're also teaching you JavaScript. We're also teaching you PHP. I'm reading through the whole documentation of PHP and this, and that. And then now the course is like 62 hours long, right? Did I need to go into a course for 62 hours to learn what I needed to learn? I'm going to give you a very good example of a course which I haven't recommended for a reason. I'm going to give you a very good course that I haven't recommended for a very good reason. Let me see. Where is it? Where is it? There's a course. Man, I can't find it. But it used to be here. The kid who does it, I believe he's also a YouTuber, and he's a good person and everything. And this is not no knock to him, but I can't find it, man. I want to show it to you guys. There's a course that's like literally like 55 hours of Python. And a while back, people thought that that was like really good value. You're like, oh man, I'm getting 55 hours. But now this guy, Jose Portilla, came out with this one, which is actually selling better because it's 13 hours, right? You don't need to have somebody come in and read you the documentation of every function inside of Python. So I just wanted to explain that to people because I feel like there is a disconnect between what's good value for your money and what's really value for your career. I hope you understand the difference. Value for your money is like, hey, $10, I'm gonna get 62, 72 hours of content. $10, I'm winning, right? Now, value for your career is, hey, I'm coming in, I'm gonna learn the things that I need to learn. This person's gonna break it down in a way where it's gonna be an easier route for me as a self-taught developer to learn on my own. And then from there, once I know all the concepts, I could say thank you to this person and move on and start building my own projects, right? You should never be depending on the instructor or the developer to come in and be like, hey, I just want you guys to come back 24/7. Nah, my whole idea of this whole thing of CodingPhase.com is how can we make things easier for people? How can we make people learn the things that they need instead of them wasting time, 50, 60 hours on courses and then still don't know how to build their own website? Why do you need to get to the end of the course, which is 50 hours long, for you to learn that, hey, I still need to build a couple of projects for me to be able to learn how to build websites, right? You get what I mean? Like there's people who go in, finish a 60 hours course, right? 60-hour course, and then come out of there and be like, I still don't know how to build my own website. I followed along and I did everything, but I still don't know how to build it. All right. So my job as an instructor is to make sure that people learn, and also people don't have to spend too much time with me Instead, I want them to spend more time building things. Like my whole job is to get you to understand the concepts, get you to understand where to find the answers, and get you to understand how to read the documentation. This is not the Bible. You know what I mean? Documentation is not the Bible in the, the 1200s, 1400s, where only the priest could read you the book. And you always needed to come back to the priest. And priest, can you please read us what the word of God says? It's like, nah, I teach you how to read so you could read the Bible on your own and you could go and follow your own steps. That's the job of the instructor. The job of the instructor is just to come in, teach you the concepts, get you projects that are real life projects, something that's going to get you prepared for the real world. And then from there, that's on you. You get what I mean? I hope you understand that. Don't, like I said, bring it back. Value for your money and value for your career is two different things. All right. Anyways, guys, if you like the way how I speak on these topics, if you like the way how my channel is, if you enjoy my videos here on YouTube, if you enjoy my advices, guys, check out my website, CodingPhase.com. Literally the best way that I've seen out there. There's definitely great courses on Udemy that you could check out on the links below in my description. But if you want to say, hey man, I want to give this a chance, I want to give this a try, you could literally come to my website, you sign up, $10. It's as if you bought one course on Udemy, but you get all of my courses for free for that whole month. And it's the same thing. You could come in and cancel it at any time, right? You come in, you say, oh, this is not for me. Fine, you could cancel it. There's even a 30-month, 30-day money back guarantee. You know what I mean? Like, it's all on you. But do understand that my job is to make life easier for you. If you feel like, hey, that's not really what you're looking for, then this website is not for you. If you're looking for somebody who is going to go into every single thing of the documentation, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to get you up and going, get you ready to become a developer, and teach you the concepts that's going to make you into a developer. A developer is not somebody who needs somebody else to basically read the documentation for them. A developer is somebody who needs someone to break it down for them on how to create things. And then from there, once you have those concepts, you could read the documentation and find the answers to, it doesn't matter, to whatever subject, whatever topic out there. Somebody could tell me right now, hey Joe, build this. I want you to build this iPhone app that connects to an API, and I want to build in Node.js, and then I want it to be sent to a Python, and then from Python I want it to be sent to MySQL on a PHP server. I can do that, right? Because I know the concepts of everything. As far as like those languages, all the languages that I teach here, I know all the concepts of all of them, and I know how to find the answer, right? And how to read through the documentation. What I want to do is get you guys to this same point where I'm at. Instead of you having to spend 5 years to get to this point, I want you guys to get through it quicker than me, faster than me. I want a lot of you guys are probably smarter than me, and I'm not afraid to say that, because what's taking me this long to do, you guys could probably, with somebody like me guiding you and giving you the right choices and the right places where to go, you could probably do this in less time than me. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's all that's gonna make me happier. You know what I mean? To keep you guys there, and a year from now, 2 years from now, you guys getting, really good jobs, and you're like, man, Joe showed me the way. Then now he passed it on to somebody else. That's it. That's all I really care about. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I'll see you guys later. Check out my website, CodingPhase.com. Your boy's back, and I done did it again. Dab.